We'll have to do some intro music one of these days.
We can just sing a song.
Oh, I never said
No,
my
you
intro
said you
music.
gotta do intro music.
All right, welcome back to All Our Problems podcast. This is Rachel, your host, and I've got my awesome business partner in life and in business.
I'm Griffin, the awesome business partner in life.
And then we've got a special guest here today, John Riedinger.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, you're from JR Tools Crib.
JR's Tool Crib? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So before we really get into it, I just want to kind of give him a huge shout out. I actually shouted him out in our first episode when you watched it and you texted me and you were like, "This neighbor you're talking about, is this me?" Yes. And I didn't even realize I did it. But so LJ is all the time over at our place. I wouldn't say
Not
all the time.
Not
No,
all the
we're
time.
at his place.
I was gonna say I'm at his place all the time. He's Arnold's Candies neighbor, so JR Tool Crib is right next to us. So it's actually really awesome. They're really good neighbors. And what's funny is I didn't own it for like the 5 or 6 years I worked there, and I felt like since owning it, now I'm bothering you guys all the time.
Yeah, we used to see Greg from time to time. You know,
Yeah,
not too often. Greg
Yeah.
kind of just did his own thing, and it's good. It's great to have good neighbors. You
Yeah.
know, just like
And
when-
then I'm rolling in there like, "Hey, I'm back. Can you come and look at this machine for me?"
Well, yeah, but you guys bring candy.
Well, yeah.
It's a give
I
and take.
gotta give you something. I mean, seriously, like you guys have really come through for us quite a few times. Like Griff's been over there with me, Nico's been over there with me, especially like when a machine is down. The one day I called you up, it must have been 6 a.m. and I was like, "Can you please go look at this?" Like I don't have all the knowledge, so it's so nice that you guys are so like willing to come over and just help us out. Even it's your dad, right?
My dad started
Senior.
it. My dad owns it.
Yeah.
And he started it back in 1987. Used to work as a machinist in Goodyear.
So were you guys always at the Arnold's, or not the Arnold's Candies location, but at the location you're at right now?
So no, we actually started out in my parents' garage. They had a 2-car attached garage, and one of the garages became the shop. When he left Goodyear and ended up buying the grinding equipment and decided to take a run at starting a business and making it go and see how it pans out.
That's
Absolutely.
cool. That's really nice. So like basically it was just you and him in his shop at home, or
No, it
how
was
did that
him.
grow like that?
It
Because
was-
now I've seen the inside of your building. You've got awesome equipment in there. I have use for some of your tools. So I mean, obviously you guys have a lot now. Where did that transition happen, or like how did he grow from there?
So that was all him. He started out just himself, and then he had a couple brother-in-laws and good family.
Yeah.
Coming over and helping out after he needed more hands to help get some things done. My mom was a huge part of like helping keep him on task and doing things straight and doing the books and that kind of stuff. And
That's
he
good.
did the work, she handled the money, and it was a good match.
So honestly, I feel like with nowadays, it's really hard to just up and start your business in that way. Like I feel like anymore, you can't just start something out of your garage and grow it to where you guys are able to grow it right now. So I think that's super awesome. And like,
Well, I think a lot of it also, when you think about like small businesses now, it's harder because we have the accessibility of internet
Right.
with Amazon, which you can go, oh, I
Yeah.
need this tool. I'm
Yeah.
gonna grab it. But before it was like, I need this tool. I know a guy who can sharpen this or have the tool that I have and make it into what I need it to be.
yeah. Do you guys
Very
have
true.
any big like competitors that have kind of, I don't know how to, what I'm thinking of like automate their process where like they're faster turnaround? Because we see that we have competitors who use a lot more machinery in their process. Obviously in the food industry it's different. So like for you guys, where it's kind of like it's probably more of a local base of how you have stuff going on. But I know that you also have medical grade projects as
We do.
well.
Yeah,
so,
we have a couple. Yeah,
yeah, I know that you're kind of in that game a little bit.
a little bit.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we most of what we do is service. So we
Yeah.
service machine shops. Most of our base is local.
Yeah.
We do have some out of state, couple south, some west coast.
Wow. So did he just grow it from like asking or just getting customers word of mouth?
Word of mouth, yeah. So when he
Wow.
first started out, he went business to business with a couple business cards, and hey, can just give me an opportunity and let me show you what I can do and see if I can't help save you some money.
Yeah.
So we started off just mostly doing resharpening work. From there, it's like you said, you can get things so cheap off of the internet. It makes it really, really difficult to try to compete with that market.
Yeah.
So, we get into other things where we get into like manufacturing customs, things you can't buy on the internet. They're not very easily. You have to find someone else that has kind of, the same type of processes that we do to be able to produce the same type of, overall end product.
Well, that's cool. I mean,
I think that's also a big thing, kind of what you touched on, was price, where often people are always price shopping. And, when I worked in finance and around mortgages, always like, well, the rate. But when you go buying a house, you date the rate, you marry the house. If you love the house, you can always refinance it. I mean, when it comes down to price, especially like in businesses, price doesn't always mean better quality. Sometimes you pay higher price because it's better quality. It's going to last you longer. You're not going to go through 4 of them. And then you're like, well, this is actually more expensive. I would just pay the extra little bit to get the more quality product the first time.
100%. Yeah, we try to be more cost effective at the bottom line.
Yeah.
If you only have to resharpen something once versus 4 times to get through your project, then we've saved money.
Yeah, that's smart.
Try to look at it from that perspective.
Yeah. So where did you come in the picture? Like, when did you join on?
How did you decide when you were like, you know what, I'm going to join the family business?
Yeah.
Well,
was it natural?
It was weird. It was natural. My parents never pushed any of me. I have a brother and a sister also, and never pushed any of us to be in the business. Never, really kind of kept it separate.
Yeah.
Didn't ask us to come in and help. Didn't ask us to do
They're
the
better
things.
Than me. Grayson's gonna run Arnold's Candies whether he likes it or not.
So I graduated high school in '98, and I needed a summer job. It was really what started out. I was transitioning into going to college at Akron U. Started in once I turned 18. It was in February, so I had about 6 months before college was supposed to start, and ended up just never going to college. Fell in love with what I did and getting my hands dirty.
That's
and
awesome.
Being around the shop environment. And,
yeah, I mean, I've met engineers that are engineers by trade. Like, I feel like you're pretty much in that range. Like, you're pretty engineering.
Kind of, yeah. I do a lot of helping with manufacturing processes.
Yeah. So, I mean, that kind of really surprises me, learning that you didn't go to college, because your Excel sheets like saved my life. Like,
Google helps out a lot with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's still so impressive though, because for the people who don't know, LJ has like mastered these Excel sheets for production and like work orders, and your system is just so clean. Like, I envied it immediately when you showed it to me. So I was like, I need all of this emailed to me.
It made things way easier once we were like, you know what?
Yeah.
This helps our productivity. It makes we know what streamline which orders when they came in.
Yeah. I actually
instead of just trying to do everything by like, oh, we have this PO in our hand. When is this?
Yeah.
Did we move this date out?
We wouldn't be able to have survived our busy season this year without your Excel sheets. Like, genuinely, not to inflate your ego or anything.
Oh no, I appreciate it. I'm definitely a nerd. I love it. I love the Excel sheets, and I love the opportunity to just mess around with them. It's kind of what I do for fun. It's kind of a hobby.
That's crazy. So I mean,
have you ever seen the
I wish
Excel?
That was my hobby.
So one day I was watching YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I got down a rabbit hole, as many of us do, and it was the Excel World Championships.
Like live.
Have you ever seen it?
No.
They like live stream. They give them something. They start from the block and they break down different equations until they get down to the answer that they're looking for. And it's like 40, 50, 40. Like, people are like world ranked in this, like all different things that could be within Excel they throw at them. And I was like,
and they're like,
I don't even know how you can type that fast or get an equation that fast. I'm like,
let alone
I need this
in
equation.
an Excel sheet, like making formulas like that.
Then I'm going through Google trying to find which formula I need to use for like the one thing I need to do, and they're just like,
how to
pull
auto
things
sum
out.
on Excel.
Exactly. How to times this by this to get this.
Yeah. So I just like, I'm so impressed to hear that you didn't go to college. So like, I know you said it's your hobby, but how do you feel like, your role at JR's Tool Crib now? Like, how did you grow into that? Did you start at the bottom and you had to earn your way in?
Yeah, my
there?
dad wouldn't have brought anybody in above anybody else, especially one of his own kids.
Yeah.
He's always been a firm believer in hiring.
Probably was a little harder on you than most.
Probably, yeah. One day I had to beg. I was like, hey, we have a homecoming dance. I was still finishing high school, or not homecoming, prom.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, so Dad, don't make me scrub the machines out today. I'm trying to stay somewhat clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he gave me a pass that day.
That's good. I was going to say, was he like, too bad?
No, he's super cool with all that. He's always tried to treat everybody more like family than a business.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like family to him. He probably doesn't think I'm family, but I love him. He's so helpful. I mean, you're super helpful too, but you probably get it from your dad because he's always willing to come over. The one time we had like a whole gear just tear off the machine. I'm sure he told you about that.
Yep.
The chain was tangled and I looked at it. I said, ooh, I don't think this is a by myself question. Right. Like, I think I need somebody with a little more knowledge. So like you guys being willing to come and just like take a peek and kind of say, this is the direction I would head in. That's so valuable to me. So like, I love your dad for that reason, obviously. And you guys are good neighbors. Like you guys are great. I think you're the better neighbor of all our neighbors. We'll cut that.
So tell us a little bit more about like the business, like what you guys really specialize in and what you do. 'Cause you're not like a traditional tool and die shop. I know you do more like sharpening and stuff like that. So
we're primarily, we started out as a service-based industry, serving the machine shops, in the area. So we sharpen, alter, and manufacture cutting tools for the machinist market.
Okay.
So whether that's, here or all of our customers deal in different
stuff.
So like you have like defense, you have automotive, you have medical, you have just mold shops where they're making molds for the cars and all that other kind of stuff. And
where do you guys gain most of your new business? Do you just like have people call you up or?
Yeah, so typically what ends up happening, what's happened a lot of the times is something has happened at a business where we were already doing work. And where that person maybe goes on to a different role in a different company, they kind of take our name with them.
Okay.
And so that's really how we've spread.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that speaks to you guys too of like how good your service is. And I know for stuff like that, like service is really, really important because especially if you're relying on your word of mouth and stuff like that. But that's great. I mean, you guys obviously have good service. I can tell just by being your neighbor, but we've wandered over there talking about so many things before. One that really was influential to me was just recently when we were talking about our employees. And I was talking about, I was having such trouble with temps and everything like that. And I think Nico was with me. So Griff's like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't remember this conversation. But I remember, and you were just like, oh yeah, we've had some stuff going on, man. I mean, it's one of those things where like most business owners don't realize like how much employees can be part of your problem solving like during the day. So like,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you feel like as you guys grow, like you find the right fit for you guys and usually it's pretty easy, or do you guys have trouble finding people who come in and work with you guys?
We've been pretty lucky. I mean, most of the people that I work with, it's been family. And so really that's kind of how it started. And
that's
people
nice.
that come in have usually been a relative or a friend of someone that has already worked with us.
Okay.
And so they look at, it's a different approach to a career,
right?
Where you can make an honest living for a long time, and it's just sustainable trade.
Yeah.
And so most of the people that we've only hired one guy ever, I think, out of an ad. Most of them come from people within.
Word of mouth. That's great. I love that. I honestly wish that we could find more people that fit like for us by word of mouth, but all our employees, when we ask, they're like, no, everybody has a job right now. Well, maybe it's because we've just been looking so much like
could be
in recent time because of all the growth we've had. But man, it just was like the job market was struggling this year. I mean, I came over to complain about it to you.
We've been very, very blessed, and we have a good group of guys that really believe in what we're doing, and try to make the place as civilized as possible. I mean, everyone has to get paid to be there.
Yeah.
Right. No one comes in on their own free will and says, "Hey, let me work for free today." So
I don't think anybody would want to do that. Yeah.
Oh no.
You don't guys just want to go make candy and like hang out and not get paid at all?
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I want them to, I don't think they want to.
I wish. That would be great. If you are interested in a job where you don't get paid and you just come and make candy for us, you call me. I would love that.
We try to keep a good group of people that just kind of like, love to hear the, radio and just have, make the environment fun. Good morale is so important. That's probably the most valuable thing for us, because I know most of the people we hire, they're not going to know how to make peanut brittle. They're not going to know how to make peppermint puffs.
They become master confectionaires when they work for us. Like we train them and stuff.
But you bringing good morale in with everybody is really, really important for us.
Well, when you say peanut brittle, though, I mean, I'll tell you what, peanut brittle is straight amazing.
Well, they have been the neighbor of the world's best peanut brittles, so we're going on 72 years next year.
That's true.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I just really love you guys. I love everything that you guys are doing over there. So do you think like your dad's going to retire anytime soon and you'll take over? Or?
I mean, he would consider himself partially retired.
Yeah.
Everybody that he knows that retires either gets a part-time job or dies. So he figured
he's like, I gotta keep doing something.
He might as well keep doing the part-time job.
He'll come in and tell me what I'm screwing up, and
it's great. It's my favorite pastime.
But still, he'll do our deliveries, and he'll come in and help train some of the younger guys on newer processes. And
that's great. He's a great trainer. Because when he comes over to tell me stuff, he's just like so calm, level-headed, explains it clearly. Like really, he's smart for sure.
Training is so hard.
Yeah,
it's so hard.
I know I'm not good at it. Well, I'm like, I'll show you how to do it once. Well, there you go.
Well, it also comes down to the fact that everybody learns differently, and when you especially, I don't know about your guys' process, but ours is like you're around molten sugar. Like sometimes people aren't hands-on. You guys show them like, I kind of want to do it. I'm like, well, you can do some of it, but not all of it until you're more trained or more comfortable. Because our biggest thing is it's always going to be safety.
Yeah.
Because we don't want anybody getting hurt. Which, we take it for granted because once you're trained and stuff, you're around it all day and you're used to it.
At most
you're doing
risk
it.
Of getting hurt
but also, we have a great group of guys who always look at it like we're very comfortable and we joke around and we have a good time, but we're always very aware of what's going on because we know the dangers that associate with what we do.
We have really good cooks too who are like willing to step in and train their coworkers and stuff like that. So like that's super valuable for us and like having that knowledge
because they also know if
down.
one thing's not going right, it's going to make more work for everybody else because when you only have 10 full-time people most of the year, it's everybody has a job.
Yeah. I'll go and try and help problem solve with the cooks, but I don't do it every day. They do. So like they're going to know best. So if they're asking me a question, something's really wrong because I'm not doing it every day. So that means they're struggling. And for us, like heat, humidity and stuff like that is definitely a struggle. But
what about your guys' training process? I know.
Yeah.
We've it's always been, the last person that learned it is the next person to train it. And it really kind of reinforces, does this person know everything that they thought that they knew?
Yeah.
And if it forces them sometimes to go ask whoever trained them, hey, what did you do in this situation?
Smart.
So
that's really good because then like as you gain more experience and then like you're passing on knowledge, but you're also able to continue learning. And that's really good. Kind of like not sink or swim, but it's kind of like show how you can kind of pass down new thinking because I think for me, I think having fresh eyes on something is really, really important.
100%. And we've had a lot of times where we have the new guy come in and say, well, why aren't you doing it this way? And the ones that have been doing it, we've been doing this forever. We're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
I could have counted 100 times where like I've been at Arnold's for so long that we do something just the way that we do it. And I just continue doing it. And then Nicole came in and Griff came in. And they both kind of like several times would just be like, why are you doing it this way? Why not do it this way? Right. And like, it would just be like, why did I never think of doing that? That's 10 times easier. That's really, really nice. So
and we call it, don't let your experience limit you.
Yeah.
That's
really
you
smart.
get set in your ways and it's hard to get someone that's set in their ways out of them.
Right.
Try to be open to fresh ideas and new perspectives. And
it keeps you wanting to continue to learn because you have to train the next guy and it becomes a reflection on you of like, well, you trained him. That if they're not doing it correctly, that it also ultimately comes back on your knowledge and your ability to express that knowledge to them.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you see in the future as like you start to really take the reins and everything? Where do you think you're headed?
Oh, God only knows.
Just surviving every day.
Surviving every day is a good way. Yeah, we're looking at getting into. We do have several CNCs that do a lot of our work.
Yeah,
we have to program them and make them.
You still have somebody like standing there looking at it.
But the hope is to get deeper into that. Where you can get more automated products. Help drive the cost down and.
That's awesome.
That's the biggest thing that we run up against is, like you said, the cost of everything is so cheap.
Yeah.
We have to be cheaper for reconditioning them.
Yeah.
We can't be the same cost or someone's just going to buy new.
Right.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Do you feel like you pretty usually have to keep like a really close eye on your bottom line just to make sure? Because I mean, labor is my biggest expense for sure. And I feel like labor is probably a huge part of your business because you have your materials, but like, if people are sending you the product to get fixed or something, you're putting labor in it.
Yep. So that's the biggest cost of the biggest cost of our business is labor, 100%.
Yeah.
After that, it gets into, your consumables, grinding wheels and, stuff
Yeah.
like that. But it's like you said, our customers send us the product,
Yeah.
so that part makes it nice.
That's kind of nice. Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's a plus.
Have you guys ever, like, not that I know anything about machinery shops or anything like that, but have you guys ever thought about more coming to like the manufacturing part of like, oh, we can recondition these tools and maybe transition to like, now we're going to be ability to make these on a smaller scale as well, of like doing both?
Yeah, we actually do have our own kind of small line of tools that we've designed and put into some of our customers' hands, and the ones that have used them all really kind of like them.
Yeah.
So
nice.
they kind of repeat, and it's easier for us to sharpen those too.
Yeah.
Since we made them, we don't
Yeah,
spend
what
all of
you're
the time to
making.
figure out what it is.
Yes. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
market's so huge for what you can purchase.
Yeah.
From so many different customers or so many different vendors,
Yeah.
and all of the styles are different.
Yeah.
Sometimes I swear the engineers are just selling mistakes and calling it a new tool.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Like, man,
Oh
I
my
messed this up,
gosh.
but I need something today. So look at this one. It has a real unique part to it.
Right. So they try
Major
to find
discount.
Right.
try this, I'll give it to you. That type of stuff. And,
Exactly.
so when we resharpen something, we try to put it back to the original spec.
Mhm.
Whatever it was when you first bought it is how we try to return it to you.
That's nice.
Yeah, so it's
That's
so
great.
it's easier to manufacture than it is to resharpen,
Right.
to be honest.
Yeah. I would imagine that because, it's just like there's angles, there's all sorts of things. The
Just
different
wear and
types
tear
of
on
metal.
things,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
got to be rough.
Mhm.
So that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, LJ. We really appreciate you. If you want to shout out
Yeah.
anything,
Anything you
shout
wanna
out JR's
plug? Anything you wanna
Toolkit.
say?
Yeah, you got a chance.
Oh yeah, a couple things if that's okay.
Yeah,
So
go for it.
my brother-in-law has his huge Halloween festival type thing going on at his house right now. So he does. It's called Holidays on Wildflower.
Okay.
And so it's over there in Green.
Okay.
He's getting
Yeah.
a lot of views on the internet and super proud of him. And
That's
awesome.
so
so he's been
awesome.
taking donations. He has a light show to music and the whole 9 yards. And my sister's
wow.
super tolerant. So
I don't even want to think about their electricity bill. Like that's what I think about when I see those all the time.
It's huge. It's like, thousands and thousands of lights, and he's on the 330 to go tour and all that stuff.
Oh,
And
that's
Did you do it
awesome.
for Christmas too?
he does it for Christmas too. So he does it really
Perfect.
for every holiday, to be honest. He looks for any excuse he can to turn lights on at his house.
That's so cool.
But the Halloween's his favorite, I think.
Yeah.
And then Christmas they do that one as well.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
I love
So
that.
big ones for that.
You'll have to send me the address and then maybe
Yeah.
some pictures, and we'll definitely tag it as well.
Yeah, check him out on Facebook.
Yeah.
Holidays on Wildflower.
Okay.
So my brother-in-law does an AI business, and he's helped me out a lot with how to the Google spreadsheets and that type of stuff. And it's Wally's. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's Wally's Consulting, I think.
Okay.
Don't
It's
quote me.
AI.
Yep, he
So
does.
what
He does a
he
lot
do
of stuff in
there?
AI. He loves it.
Like coding or?
Oh yeah, yep.
Wow.
Not to be that guy. I know we're near the end, but also AI kind of scares you, right? Like AI kind of scares me. Like
It kind of scares me.
because eventually, like it can just get good enough to where just suddenly it's you doing something that you've never done. You're like, I saw this video. That
Yeah.
wasn't me.
Yeah, I
you know
feel
what I mean? Like
there's
it's
a
scary.
place for it. Like I think there is a place where the convenience of it is really nice. But I on the other side, I love art. You know how I am, and that's a big thing right now. Is artists are feeling like AI can kind of take some of that from them. But I feel like
Yeah, because
AI has a place for it though.
one day I was on Facebook and they have like the Meta AI, and I was like
Gosh.
cartoon
Things this
thing,
man has been making.
and I was just like a raccoon playing a banjo. Just a cute little cartoon raccoon with a hat playing a banjo in the woods, and it's like the cool. I was like,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. But
He'll
also,
walk
I'm like,
over to me and be like,
that's like
"Look
the
at
cool
this."
part of AI. But then I'm like, they can do that. It can-
Right.
it
Yeah,
can-
it's insane. I had one of my customers, and he
Yeah.
told me that he was the Batman of engineering. And so I talked to one of my buddies that does the AI like graphics type stuff too.
Yeah.
And I said, I need you to get me a picture of Batman holding a clipboard. And like 5 minutes later, he comes walking up and he goes, hey, here you go.
Yeah.
So-
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's
it's-
so funny.
It's awesome.
Freaks
But,
me out, man.
I guess my biggest shout out, honestly, would be to my family. They're just
Yeah.
huge. My wife, especially, very supporting.
Yeah.
Whatever needs to be done, she's, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Let me know how I can help.
That's
Having
awesome.
a supportive partner is so important. Like
Absolutely.
It's number
so
one. in
so
what you do.
important because really, like, you know how it is when you run a business. there are days where you wish you could clock out, but like sometimes you just can't. Like
Right.
you're forced where, something goes on and you're like, I really wish I could be at home eating dinner. Or
Right.
like today is our anniversary,
Oh,
actually.
happy anniversary.
And so here we are
Appreciate it.
filming
Thank you.
podcasts, But at the same time, it's one of those things where like if you have a supportive partner, like you'll have fun anyways, and they just kind of get it. So I love that she's
she
so
manages
supportive.
our house like a champ. She kind of takes care of everything and lets me know, hey, I need you to do this, this, and this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you always speak so highly of her anytime that we're talking and stuff. So
Oh, she's the best.
Yeah,
She's the best.
We gotta get together. We gotta do
That'd be fun.
something. Yeah.
Just do something
Oh yeah.
Away from
Yeah.
high growth.
Not recorded. And not at work. I'll show up tomorrow with some donuts and say, hey, you want to hang out? All right. Well, we'll wrap it up, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us for another podcast, and catch us on the next one.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thank you guys for having me out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.